Hello there. I am John Paul Edmondson, and this is The Extra Stuff. What is The Extra Stuff? Well, The Extra Stuff is a podcast that I've decided to start because I talk too much. I have two podcasts. I'm a stand-up comedian, and on my two podcasts that I currently am on, I am told that I talk too fucking much. So this is, just an avenue for me to talk a little bit more. Calling it The Extra Stuff because, everything else is the extra stuff. Once you set your goals at a reasonable spot, everything else after you've met your goals is the extra stuff. Like, for example, growing up, all I wanted to do was have kids. I grew up with no dad. That's not funny. It's just true. So all I wanted to do was be a parent. And now I've got, successful father of two. My youngest just turned 10 in December of last year. My oldest just turned 14 this year. So, everything else is just the extra stuff. Like, music has been the extra, comedy, the extra, chronic masturbation, the extra. It's all the extra stuff, like once you fill your goals, everything else is just the extra stuff. And let's see, do I have an itinerary of what I want to do on this here, pilot episode? Okay, let's see. We have talked about what the extra stuff is. Yeah, let's do this again. If you set realistic goals for your life, once you achieve them, everything else is just the extra stuff. That's pretty cool. Now, what do we hope to achieve with this podcast? Well, like I said, I talk too much on my podcasts. It really is just a way for me to talk and get shit out that either I wouldn't say on stage or I wouldn't say on my own podcast with my co-host, Zach Blackfire. Shout out to Zach Blackfire. He's a pretty cool dude. I like him. He's obnoxious. But yeah, also probably a way to do like some voices and stuff. Fancy myself a bit of a voice enthusiast. And a lot of it is just like an outlet for ideas that I don't think would work on stage. Like, I had this idea of like doing like the American Psycho card scene, where everybody's like describing they're showing off their business cards or whatever. And like, my idea for I don't know, I'm not good at doing sketches, so it'd probably be better as a sketch. But my idea is, instead of the business cards, everybody's got their comedy style, and you just set up. It's like, this is an open mic, and it's like, show me what's your comedy style? It's like, oh, I'm just a regular comedian. I tell family jokes for relatable comedy. Oh, that's really nice. Show me what's your card? It's like, oh, me. Just an occasional edgy joke here and there, mostly relatable humor. That's nice, cool. How about Paul Allen's? Ooh, goddamn. Paul Allen's jokes. All right. Well, Paul Allen's jokes, he exclusively makes points, tells no jokes, and he goes exclusively for clapter. It's like, mother of God. No punchlines. Only points. Mother of God. There's no joke here at all. Something like that. It's not funny. That's why it wouldn't work on stage. It wouldn't work it'd probably work as like a mediocre sketch that would get like 3 views, which is probably more views than this podcast will get, which is fine. Which is why I decided to do it audio only. I wanted to do as little effort as possible for it because, really, yeah, it's just like a thing for me to get out my thoughts and prayers and hopes and dreams and stuff, and also just like straight up being influenced from old time radio. I grew up when I was in middle school. I was homeschooled for a brief time, and I'll get into it at some point, but the reason, during that time, I got really into old school, old time radio. Like my mom. It started with my mom got me this huge old time radio book, and it had like some CDs in the back of it. It just was like, it was cool. It had just like some examples and just like the history of old time radio. Learned about the first, had like the first radio broadcast that was ever, existed. Had a big old story on Orson Welles pranking the entire world into thinking that we were being invaded by aliens. That was pretty cool. Yeah, no, but like one of the biggest things that stuck out to me from it was two people in it particularly that stuck out to me. One was Jack Benny, who is probably, just one of the best comedians ever. Even though like he started in vaudeville it's basically just traveling, circus shit back in the early 200 whatever. It's basically like prototype stand up, but yeah, and then he went to radio and just blew up, and he had on his show he had Mel Blanc. Well, and I don't know if you know who Mel Blanc is, but he was often the voice of Bugs Bunny. Mel Blanc is, and it's like, oh shit, Bugs Bunny. But they didn't tell you he was Bugs Bunny, he was Daffy Duck, he was every fucking character on the Looney Tunes when it started, and that just really got me thinking. It was like, god damn, Looney Tunes started in like the 40s. Holy shit, that's old as fuck. But yeah, dude, and another one I got into out of that book was Red Skelton. Red Skelton was fun. He was less radio, though. He did have a radio show, but his thing more was like he was one you had to watch because like he did a lot of pantomime, which doesn't work well on radio. I don't know if you're familiar with pantomime, but pantomime is no words and only acting out. Comedians call them act outs, which is fucking lame. I think if you just pantomime is a way better name for calling it act outs. Comedians call it pantomime, not act outs. Yeah, but Red Skelton used to do this shit where he would. One of my favorites was I think it was Gertrude the Seagull. You just dress up as or pretend to be a seagull and do silly shit. Literally, I think just maybe he was pooping on cars and shit. I don't remember, but it was a lot of fun. I like the old time radio. There's like just a lot of just like the classic. You gotta love how like they made like sound effects and shit. It's like, all right, what's going on over here? Oh, hello everyone. How you doing outside? You came to the door. Yes, I'm gonna run over here. Scary. That was radio was fun, and everybody talked like in that transatlantic voice, like, oh, the world at war. Hey, hello. Make sure you buy your war bonds. Come on, bud. Oh, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, so this is like, I really don't have any itinerary for this podcast. What I've written down, this is the first one, obviously, so it's going to be a little all over the place. They're all probably going to be all over the place. But I figured if I could do, like, to keep it consistent, what I would do is maybe what do I hope to achieve? I have some stuff written down that I would figure out, like, a voice, a story, and a thought. All right, this would be something fun to do. So let's make a story from a voice with a thought. All right, let's see. What's a thought? A thought is something that your brain does. What's something I can think of? I'm just looking around my living room right now, drawing a complete blank. Let's talk about, tracksuits. I'm looking at a tracksuit. That's why. Oh, shit, here's an even better one. Let's have an Irish Catholic talking about the Last Supper. I just saw my painting of the Last Supper that's hanging above my doorway, and it got me thinking. He's like, we need to go to the sermon this evening. Where are we going to the sermon? Oh, it's Mass this evening. I got to give up. What you be giving up for Lent, lad? Oh, I gave up for Lent praying. You can't give up for Lent praying. You can't do that, lad. Oh, but I have, Father. I gave up praying for Lent. I've just been talking to the Lord too much, Father. Oh, you got to keep talking to the Lord, Father. No, but you see, if I talk to the Lord within the next 40 days, then I'll be breaking my soul and vow to the Lord. Can't be doing that now, can I? That's not very good. That's why, I don't honestly think that's why most people do podcasts. So that way you can get the shit out that you, you don't want to do. I don't know. Like, really, this was just like an idea for a thought that I had. There's a fun bit that I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it, but it's a fun one that I tried the other night, and I was like, started it with like, what's some accents and shit I can do? Because like, I grew up on The Simpsons, and I can do a lot of accents that I learned on The Simpsons. But shit, as a chronically white guy, there are some of those that I'm not allowed to do. I wrote this bit down, and I was like, I just wrote down all the accents I can do, and it's just a list, and it's like, this is a list of racist accents I can do. Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Mexican, Jewish, Jamaican, German, Native American, and African. Next thing, and just don't do any of the accents at all. But yeah, would be a fun little bit, I think. Now here's something fun I thought about. I don't know, this would never work as a bit, but I think it's fun that the world lost interest in baseball. Like I grew up in the '90s, so I remember the biggest thing I remember is the home run race between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, and it was funny because in the '90s that was between a white guy and an African American, and now it was just two white guys because Sammy Sosa is gotten incredibly well. I don't know what happened to Sammy Sosa. It was really shocking. I heard on the internet once, it's like, oh, Sammy Sosa's white now, and I looked it up. I was like, no, oh fuck, what the fuck? I don't even know if Mark McGwire is it Mark McGwire? Yeah, Mark McGwire. I was like, is it Mark McGwire or Mark McGrath? And I think Mark McGrath was the guy from Sugar Ray. Spread your love and fly. But anyway, but yeah, like I feel like baseball, like I remember that I think they were both on steroids, or at least Mark McGwire was. And like I just feel like nobody gives a shit about baseball anymore. Like maybe like after steroids and Boston won the World Series and they made that movie, I don't think people have cared about baseball since they made that movie. And I think that means Jimmy Fallon ruined baseball. I'm not 100%, but I think that is something we could talk about. Jimmy Fallon might have ruined baseball forever because Fever Pitch was a bad movie. Drew Barrymore's good, but Fever Pitch, not so good. Thank you, Jimmy Fallon, for ruining films, actually, like just acting in general. What a goofball. Oh man, God, I love Jimmy Fallon though. No, he's so like I remember one of my favorite SNL skits when I started watching SNL was when Jimmy Fallon was on it, because I didn't watch it early. If it wasn't cartoons when I was growing up, cartoons or Friends, I wasn't watching it. Because no one told you life was going to be that way though. Yeah, dude, I love the Barry Gibb talk show. Was probably one of my favorite things on the Saturday Night Live at the time, and it was always the episodes with Justin Timberlake. That was fun. Those are fun episodes. Yeah, no, I got into. I had like TV at a weird time in my life. I had it early on, growing up, and then I lost TV for about, say, till I was 14. I moved to Fayetteville from Greensboro when I was 14. Yeah, so I lost my TV when I was 8. Never got another one. Just didn't have a TV for years and years. And then I think I would watch. My brother had a TV, but it was his TV, so I had to ask, and could only watch movies and shit on it. But it was weird. Yeah, what was I talking about? TV. Yeah, I just didn't watch a lot of TV like growing up. Like I was more into like playing games and playing, like, I don't know, just playing. Like I don't know, I would watch TV, but like I like being outside and stuff. And I did grow up Southern Baptist too, so that was another thing. My mom was she was one of those don't watch a whole lot of TV. Like any TV or video games I would get at my buddy's house, like my babysitter Sally's house. She's probably dead now, so if I ever talk about her, it's more than fine. But yeah, growing up Southern Baptist was fun. I don't know. I was thinking about this one thing earlier this week about how there's this one part in the Bible where Jesus goes out in the desert and he's getting tempted by Satan, and that's just pretty funny because like Satan's like, hey Jesus, if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you this. And Jesus is like, no. And then Satan's like, hey, Jesus, if you renounce God and worship me, I'll give you this. You have some hookers. No. And then he's like, oh, Jesus, how about if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you. He's like, dude, stop. This is all my dad's stuff. Like, you can't come to my dad's house, and be like, hey, Jesus, you want some of this beer to betray your father? He's like, no. My dad's a powerful businessman, and he bought that beer, and you can't offer it to me. Like, you're not tempting me. Like, it's my beer. If anything, like if it's anybody's beer first, it's mine, not yours, and you can't give it to me. I don't know. It's a fun, silly thing I was thinking about. Yeah, so I stopped smoking 2 weeks ago now. That's been pretty cool. it's been a fun experience. You know, especially considering like the state of the world and everything. Like I've stopped drinking, stopped smoking. I'm gonna stop smoking weed here soon. I stopped smoking cigarettes, by the way. I still smoke hella weed. Just do hella bong rips, and I'm pretty much cool. I am getting less cool though. Like I said, though, I'm not drinking as much because I'm just getting 35. So I did stop drinking when I was 32, but yeah, it's just I'm getting too old to be drinking. No, I stopped drinking when I was 33. I turned 36 this year, and it'll be 3 years when I turn I'll be 36 when it turns to 3 years. So yeah, I was 33. Yeah, no, it's just I did have a rock bottom moment with drinking. That was pretty fun. It was I had a lot of rock bottom moments, I think, with drinking, but the one that really got me was because this is the extra stuff. Like all I wanted to do was be a dad, and as I said, and first thing that time my kid walked in on me while I'm sitting there arguing with my wife, because that was what I would do. I would get drunk with my wife, and then we would argue, and then that would just lead to one thing to another. And then one night we were arguing, and I'm like, I fall down into the litter boxes, and I had long hair, and I'm just like, my hair is in the litter boxes, and I'm like laughing. I just think the situation is funny as hell. I don't know. When you're blackout drunk, you think shit like that is funny, apparently. But yeah, so I did that, and then I fell down, and then my son walks in. He would have been 7 at the time. No, he'll be 11 by the time, so he would have been 8 at the time. Yeah, he walked in, 8 years old. He's like, oh, shit, what's Dad doing in the litter box? And my wife's like, nothing. He's not doing anything. And I don't remember any of it. Like, it would be nights and nights, just months and months of me getting blackout drunk every night, not remembering what I said to my wife, her getting mad at me waking up the next day, throwing up, usually, being sheepish, like, oh, what happened last night? Hope nothing too bad happened, My wife being mad at me for most of the day, and then coming home, and start it all over again. So it just, I don't know, like, the falling in the litter boxes in front of my kids is really just kind of got me. I was like, yeah, I should probably quit doing this shit. It's not good. It's not a smart move. Yeah, it wasn't really good time. And cigarettes was just like, oh no, I wanted to quit smoking for a while. Honestly, I probably should have stopped smoking years ago. I really wanted to quit smoking before my mom passed away, but here we are. My mom passed in November of last year, 2024. And like it sucked because like I knew it was gonna happen. The scariest Halloween of my life, not gonna lie, because I knew the day after my mom was no longer going to be with us. So that was, it's pretty scary. I didn't really dress up that year. I did have a costume. I took it with me to when I traveled to where my mom passed, and didn't wear the costume ever. I think I wore the mask once because I thought it was funny. Just needed some way to smile at the time. And really, that's just all I've been looking for ever since my mom passed. Is just shit that makes me smile. And the only thing that's really been doing it is doing comedy. Keeping it up for my kids, just doing what I can for my boys, staying there, being what I can, whatever. And meeting my nephew. My nephew is cool. I met him. He was born I think like in March. He's a little over a month old now. I've only seen him twice because my brother lives at my mom's house, and it's just destroys me that my mom passed before she got to meet her nephew. Like it really does bother me. And yeah. Like I don't know how funny this podcast is gonna be. Like really, it is a solo cast, so it can only be so funny, I imagine. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, like I'm just sitting here with Charlie talking about life. Got Molly in here. She moved into my house. She's my 15, 16-year-old cat, ambiguously old cat. Yeah, I got her because my mom passed, like I said, and we had her actually. My wife and I had her before my oldest son was born, And then we gave him to my mom. We gave her to my mom, not my son. We gave Molly to my mom. Pronouns, pal. We gave Molly to my mom, so because we couldn't, we just couldn't have her where we were moving to. We were having the baby, and with mom passing and everything, Molly's really high maintenance now. She can't really see, she can't really hear. She's got hyperthyroidism. She's got all this, old lady cat problems. And my brothers, with the new baby, really didn't need to deal with that and the rest of my mom's cats. So we took her off his hands. But now she screams at me constantly. She is asleep right now, but that is because I am sitting near her, and I am not been to the kitchen in about 5 minutes. So she is asleep soundly. But when I do wake up and start making food, she will wake up and go, meow, meow, meow. She's a nutball. But yeah, like I said, quit smoking. Trying to, get healthy. Just do more things. I've enjoyed doing podcasting, which is why I want to do this extra stuff, That's also part of why it's called the extra stuff. It's just the stuff I can't get out on my own podcast, really. Just because I talk too much. That's really the long and short of what I know. I'm not as much of a good interviewer. I'm a conversationalist, but if you add two people to the conversation, I'm a conversation dominator when I'm allowed to be, I think. But when it's your own show, I feel like you're allowed to be. If your name is on the title of the show, you should be allowed to talk. That's what I think. But yeah, and no, doing comedy has been a little bit rough though, because when I stopped drinking, I kind of swapped over to drinking Red Bulls, and that just kind of spiraled into its whole problem of its own. Because I get incredibly addicted to shit real fast and real easy, and it would go up to from 1 or 2 Red Bulls a day to a case, and I just I feel like I could do without a heart attack, without I don't know, I might pick up Red Bulls again, just see if I could go into them a little bit more chill, because smoking arguably is probably way worse for to give up. Okay, so I'll do on stage where it's say I quit smoking, yay, quit drinking, yay, quit cheating on my wife, mixed response. But then I say I quit drinking Red Bulls, and everybody's like, so gay, we don't care, ew, what, you quit drinking something that's not a highly addictive substance? It's like, oh yeah, it was a problem, but I get it when people don't understand what's a problem and what's not. But yeah, but doing comedy and staying up past 10 o'clock has been an issue for me, because I'm not drinking as much, I just don't have as much caffeine in my system, and oh no, I eat well enough as it is, I'm not starving myself or anything, but it gets to be about 9:30 or so, and I'm just I'm just out. I'm tired. It's not a whole lot of fun. So I might get dabbling maybe a Red Bull once in a blue moon again, open myself back up to it. I see comedians with Red Bulls, and I'm like, that's the one thing, if anything, it does make sense that you might want is a Red Bull, because even without Red Bulls, I don't know, I might be too chill, because no Red Bulls and just smoking weed and not smoking a cigarette, just now I'm just kind of whoa, trying to not turn into a complete stoner stereotype of a character. I think that'd probably be a better bet to not do, but but yeah, just smoking, drinking, those are all fun things, but really, and really with weed, shit, smack my mic. I keep smacking my mic. Smoking weed is even that, it's not as, I probably hit my vape is more than I would, my Delta THCA vape or whatever, I got one of those, but my actual weed, I don't smoke anywhere near as much. Like, I think I cut my weed consumption in half almost, just because, like, I'll just, like, instead of smoking a cigarette, I'll still go outside and do like I would smoke and just hit my vape, like, you know, just hit dank rips off my vape, just whatever, you know, just try to hit one of those. But yeah, no, it's, I feel like I'm slowly morphing into one of those, like, shaka bra, you know, like one of those, like, Cali bro, like just a Cali bro, like, yeah, dude, like, everything's like chill, you know, like, maybe like 2 years from just totally talking like Steve-O. Like, I think that would be cool if I just totally started talking like Steve-O pretty soon. Like, yo, guys, you need some butt wipes for your butthole. Also, this episode's brought to you by Steve-O's Butt Water. For your butthole. Yeah. I actually make it myself. I put the butt water in my butt and I pour it out from my butthole. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the thank you, Steve-O, for that ad. But yeah, so yeah, living in Fayetteville's been pretty fun over these past few weeks. Dogwood Festival happens not yesterday, this weekend, but the weekend before that. And apparently there was shootings. That was, you know, in all Fayetteville. But the thing this week has been a video of a kid in an apartment complex walking around with an AK and some guy dead on the ground. And I'm just flabbergasted. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's one thing to have to hear about the shit, but like, it was a very white thing for this dude to take his phone out and film the whole thing. It's like, oh, yeah, did you call 911? Oh, yeah, the cops are on the way. Are they? Oh, I don't know. I think they did call the cops, but goddamn, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and, you know, but we don't need more gun control. Gun control is not an issue, even though we're literally walking around with AKs in a military town. Like, and meanwhile, the cops, you know, they're getting their gains and worried about being jacked and hot. Like, because that's one thing I noticed at the Dogwood Festival was just how jacked and hot all the police are in this town. It's wild. Let's see what else we got. What do I got? I'm just trying to look through some bits and stuff that I have. Oh, here's a fun story we could talk about. Fights. This is probably something I want to talk about on stage at some point. Because I've been in 2 fights in my life, and both of them were super gay. One of them because it was a fight in high school. I had it my junior year. My junior year in high school. I got in a fight with a gay dude. That's why the fight was so gay. Yeah, it was just this dude who would make fun of me all year long. I don't know why. He would just, like, say snide shit to me, whatever. And I remember one day, I think we had a fucking substitute in the class, or maybe it was, like, after the class. And substitute, this was my favorite class at school. It was theater. So, yeah, it was a little gay being there. But, like, he was the gay dude, actually being gay. Yeah, just the gayest fight ever. We both were punching very gaily. Results were very gay. I got suspended. I cried a whole bunch. Went home. My mom was like, oh, what'd you get suspended for? Got in a fight. Mom was like, oh, are you okay? Did you win? I was like, no, nobody really won. It was just kind of stupid. Guy was making fun of me. And she was like, well, at least you get a couple days out of school. Ha, 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 you fucking idiot. Yeah, that was pretty fun. The other fight I got into was with my best friend, Chris Howell. He was a good dude. He was my drummer for my first band, second band, third band. No, not my third band, technically. That was Kevin Gregory, but my fourth band. I think he's sort of retired now because he also had a baby, but he's a retired private citizen now. But I think he still plays for Brent Underwood on record. But yeah, we had this whole thing like falling out where the band, like we had this thing where there was a show, we were getting along with a bunch of people, and something happened where I ended up rubbing the microphone on my butthole. Now, I would never do that as a thing. I would never do that now as a comedian. I know now that more people have than me are going to use that microphone. And it's not your mic. If you're going to do stuff like that, bring your own microphone. But I didn't realize that at the time. I did that. And then the club owner was like, hey, man, you got to pay me for that mic. And I was like, fuck you. And I left. And he got pissed. He was furious. Yeah, furious with us. And so my drummer, like, we liked playing there. He was like, well, here, his pride and joy at the moment, the only thing that we had on us that was probably worth a damn was his double bass pedals. So he let the club owner hold on to his double bass pedals and was like, John, you gotta pay me this money back so we can get these, get this shit back. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. For some reason, I was just like, no, fuck you. My anger towards those people, like, this was just, I used to be shitty. Like, I used to get mad and be shitty about it. Like, just take it out on the wrong people. I let my anger at getting, being wrong and doing the wrong thing at other people, directed it at Chris and was like, nah, fuck you, man. So months go by. He calls me. I don't answer the phone. He calls me. I don't answer the phone. He's like, leaves me messages. I'm going to see you. I'm going to kick your fucking ass, dude. Like, all the time, constantly. Months go by. Eventually, months are going by, and then we are, like, I used to walk, and we would both walk together all the time, places. And then, like, one day I'm walking home, and then he's walking from the other direction. And he looks at me and he's like, hey. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Hey, motherfucker, don't ignore me. And I'm like, oh, what? And I try to, like, big up, walk past him and shit. And he's like, no, motherfucker, you don't get to do this. What the fuck, man? Where's my money? And just immediately, like, I don't remember who started swinging first, but it might have been him, but I think I probably did. But, now here's the thing with me and Chris. When we would fight, like, we would play fight all the time. And it would always end with us squeezing each other's balls. And, just because it was funny. Like, we'd just be like, I'm tougher than you. I squeeze your balls longer. You're gay. Blah, blah, blah. But, so we start swinging on each other, and he punches me in the face, and I punch him, poorly. But it ends up with me squeezing his balls, and he's like, oh, you fucking, he calls me, several slurs, and I call him also several slurs. This was in the 90s at the time, probably mostly F slurs. And we were sitting there doing all this shit and fighting. It ends up with him punching me in the face. I run off, go home. He leaves. I think somebody might have been like, hey, I'm going to call the cops. And we both just bail. We didn't want to go to jail or whatever. And but it ended with us squeezing each other's balls. And it was just the gayest fight. Like, the only 2 fights I've ever been in my life were just the gayest experiences. Because most of the time I can just, like, talk my way out of fights. Like, hey, man, we don't want to fight. Being fighting that'd be pretty gay. We don't want to fight. Let's not do that. And that's it's dumb. It was dumb fights. But let's see, I've been doing this for about 30 minutes now. Pretty good. Let's see what else I got. Gay fights, dead mother, extra stuff. Oh yeah. So yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like that might be enough for this first one. Extra stuff, just I wanted to get a little bit of extra out, put it out there. When I listen to this back, I can make sure that I don't say any of the same shit in the next one that I record when I decide to do that. So, yeah, this has been the extra stuff with John Paul Edmondson. Thank you for listening if you did. Goodbye.